Welcome to another edition of our Dailyish Devotionals. Pastor Brian. And I'm going to share with you another devotional today from a devotional book. Remember yesterday I confessed my previous disdain with them, and it's funny how in the first two or three devotions from this book I found some that have been pretty interesting. So I've decided it's not bad to try this again. Just a reminder that tomorrow we are going to do our Tenebrae service will be the devotional. We recorded that last night. That's the service of shadows, the reading of Jesus' Passion, and the extinguishing of candles. So I invite you to join us for that tomorrow. No, it won't be live. We're just going to record it and do that instead of the devotional in the morning. And then Friday we'll have a quote-unquote normal devotional, and we'll see Monday what brings the book we'll have. So I found this cartoon. I thought it was pretty funny. Hopefully nobody's experiencing that if they're home with their spouse and children. In the background today is Target Field because it should be baseball season. And I thought it'd be fun for us to be at a ball game. So maybe we can imagine that for a day. Our devotional today is titled Starting Your Trip with a Full Tank, which is the title of the book that Ron Hutchcraft that we're going through. And this talks, he begins this devotional with a story about family trips and how they are full of memories, and I can attest to that. We have taken 2 family trips now with the grandparents. First one we took my parents and my sister's family, went to Disney World, and that was fun. We still have memories that we talk about from there. Number one being my youngest son's disdain for any kind of thrill rides. If you've ever been to Disney World, his favorite ride was the People Mover. You literally sit in a 4-person car and drive around a flat surface. Whatever, to each his own. It was just funny and amusing, and we still talk about that and the fun times had with cousins there. The second trip we were blessed to take is with Tracy's parents. We went out to Yellowstone and then met her sister in Colorado. And that one was a road trip in a van, which leads itself to their own sets of memories. There was a story of a conversation between Diane and Jerry on how to properly get water out of a water bottle that is probably not quite safe for work. So we'll have to ask them next time you see Diane and Jerry how that story went. Or you could ask one of my children. They love telling a story of Grandma instructing Grandpa how to get some water out of her water bottle. But memories that were made on that trip too. You think about any road trips you've taken, not necessarily with family, with friends, or even work road trips. Usually there are some fun memories made on them. There's just something about a road trip. So I guess besides the devotional, I would encourage you to do one with your family, with friends if you can, or something. Even if it doesn't have to be across country, anytime. They're just memories made that will never be forgotten. We had planned to take another one with my parents to Seattle this summer, but apparently those plans have been changed. We'll say postponed, because I'm sure we'll go later. I'm looking forward to making memories with them again. But with any trip, Ron says in his devotion, you've got a plan, right? Usually the planning is the not so fun part. First off, where we're going to go. I'm thinking about a trip we took with our friends a while ago. We had planned trying to decide where we go, and we had finally settled on Puerto Rico after, it seemed like forever. And then, of course, a hurricane came through and changed those plans. So then we're deciding again where to stay. Trying to get 4 or 5 different couples on agree to a place isn't easy. And if you have different family members with different ideas where to go, even agreeing where to go can be hard. And then you got to pack. Pack for the weather that's there, and pack for the weather when you're leaving here. It could be 2 different things. And you got to make sure you have the right supplies and the snacks. And if it's a road trip, you need to have plenty of snacks. I saw a great meme once that said, if you're on a road trip, it must look like a toddler bought the snacks. And that's true. But the planning that goes into it sometimes is no fun. The trip hopefully can make up for that planning. But Ron says that David has a way for us to plan for each day of our life. He says in Psalm 90, where David prays this simple prayer, satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love. He said David's a realist. He knows that we live out our lives from day to day. We have 24-hour periods where we get to start over each day. And he says, Lord, every morning at the beginning of each of these 24-hour things called days, I need you to satisfy me with your unfailing love. And as the morning goes, so goes the day. Like the old saying, it isn't the gale that blows, It's how you set your sail that determines the way you go. And I had never heard that. It's the set of the sail, not the force of the gale, that sets the way you go. We set our sails in the morning by what we do each morning when we get up. Think about how your day goes if you get up on the wrong side of the bed. If you get up and something bad happens. You stub your toe, or your breakfast isn't made right, or forget to make your coffee, or you burn your toast, or whatever. There's an urgent phone call right from your boss saying there's an emergency at work. Usually when your day starts pretty crappy, the rest of your day, no matter what happens, ends up pretty crappy, right? Or what if you get up and your loving companion has made your favorite breakfast, your coffee is set, your suit and tie has been laid out, or your favorite work apparel is laid out for you, your kids are all prepared to go to school, and your day gets up and a phone call from a friend right away first thing. How does your day go then when it starts off well? What about if your day starts off with prayer? Or at least a daily reminder of God's unfailing love. How do you think that would fill up your tank and begin your day? He says in this book that our sail gets set in our first moments of the day. Meaning the direction our day is going to take usually is determined by how we start off that day. In Psalm 143, David says, "Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love." In Psalm 59, he says, "In the morning I will sing of your love." You get the picture? First thing, come to God in the morning. Each day is a long trip with stress and surprises and people pulling at us. Sometimes it's just tempting to start the trip off without the proper preparations, without our time with Jesus. He says we need to hear and be reminded when God says to us, I love you today, I love you no matter what. There's nothing more valuable than coming to the one who will never reject you, will always accept you. He challenges us to visit the cross each morning and remember how loved you are. Park your doubts right there. You don't know what the day is going to hold, but you do know that someone loves you totally and that he has okayed everything that is going to come into your day. This is the day not made by your boss or your partner or your kids or the weather or your teachers, but this is the day my Lord has made. You have many demands filling up your days. Maybe less demands now that we're all self-quarantined, but each day still is filled with its own challenges, its own stress. There is no better way to set your sail in the right direction if you set it towards the cross. So maybe a challenge for these days ahead is to get up before you get out of bed even. Spend 5 minutes just giving to God whatever the day may hold. You have worries about meetings or work or no work or school or no school or whatever the obligation may be for the day. Just spend 5 minutes saying, here God, here's what I got to do. Help me out. Remember to set your sail towards the cross. It's how you set your sail, not the force of the gale, that determines the way you go. I like that one. If we remember to set our cross towards Jesus, maybe that'll help our days go a little bit more smoothly. Thank you.